Check. 1 2 1 2. Vader Games in the building. You know what it is. I am Vader Games. This is Vader Games TV. First things first. My peoples come first. My people, those that are here, no longer here, thought of, and always remembered. We back. We back with another episode. We back with another show. You know what we got to do? We got to have the conversations. We got to have the conversations that aren't happening elsewhere. We got to have the conversations that, for whatever reason, are being narrated a different way. The agendas, because it's city, happen to be a different way. Certain clubs that aren't in this competition are talking about it in a different way. We're gonna address all of that. Let me also clean this up because I got to do things properly here. Vader Games. Oh yeah, things were a little shifted off there. Okay, so I want to thank each and every one of you that are watching live. Those that are going to be watching on, running it back, thank you so much. Be a part of the show. Be in the comments. Let me know what you think. Those that are part of the show right now, thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm going to get to the comments because what I like to do, I like to shout out the very first person. The very first person, be like, Vader, I mess with you. Here's me contributing to the show. Here's me dropping a comment. Hopefully you also dropped a like. And today's show, very first in the building, to be like, yo, what it is. Strasburg Steve, my guy, good looking out. We got a nice day in front of us, Steve. We got a nice day in front of us. The countdown's happening with regards to Club World Cup. This show is actually so fitting. Do I want to say it was planned? I think things just kind of like lined up really well, so I'm able to break out, and I'm gonna have to start this clock. But I'm able to break out, do the show, and talk with y'all. So good looking out, my guy Steve. Listen, we're gonna link up soon because the things that are happening over at Newcastle, we got to talk about it. You consume, again, like I said this. I think you're part of the aliens in Men in Black. Like the amount of football that you consume. So we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to break some things up. But thank you so much. Hit that like button. Be a part of the show. If hopefully everything is nice and clean, internet wise, video wise, we move now. As I look at this, you see what I'm gonna discuss today. You see what I will potentially discuss throughout the remaining year, and I'm also gonna get pretty deep with regards to what's happening today with the Club World Cup. But let me address this. This is a huge opportunity. We have to acknowledge that the Club World Cup and the fact that it's invite only, we have to make the most of this. But it does create some problems. It does create some issues that we have to face that our competition don't have to. Our ops don't have to deal with this. Many of our rivals aren't in this competition. From a Prem standpoint, it's us and Chelsea. Now, I think I'd be a little too optimistic if I thought Chelsea were going to be that title threat this year. I mean, they're capable of, but it's a huge jump. But when you got the likes of a Liverpool, of an Arsenal that aren't in this competition, that can kind of sit back, observe, watch, see how City play, see how Chelsea play, there's advantages there. Also, when we look at a season that had so many injuries, we saw such a decline with regards to the league in terms of, some say, in terms of the quality. We saw such a decline because, again, I think there's a correlation here. We saw a drop in my opinion, quality, and we saw a drop in viewership, right? So that, in addition with this season and the additional number of games that have to play out, I think it's advantage rivals that aren't in this competition. So we got to look at things that way. Now, I'm going to say this, as I stated in the title, right? Why the Club World Cup is high risk, high reward is because the high risk is what I just spoke about. The number of games played, the fact that competition get to see us early. They get to see the new additions that have come to City and how Pep is going to look to play with them. Yes, I know this is a knockout. This is a tournament. But at the same time, there's going to be a template. There's going to be a structure on what City will typically be like. And you're also, because I do this, and maybe some of you don't look at this, and I'm going to get to the comments. Thank you so very much. Is I like to see how a manager manages during when you're a goal down, when you're a goal up, during the most intense, which players did he trust? Those are all things that, trust me, that the oppositions are scouting. The oppositions are learning on that. Let me also do this because I got to make sure I do this clean. I want to make sure that the clock all cleans up. All right, I want to make sure all that cleans up. So let me put this up on screen, and I'm gonna get to the comments. Let me star them as well. What did I want to do here? All right, so we're gonna do this. All right, we're gonna do this properly.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Vader Games.
All right, clock's going. Boom, there we go. I have to reintroduce myself. You know what it is. So, high risk, high reward. City have to take full advantage of this in terms of the inauguration, right? The first chance to get this version of the Club World Cup. I like how things are matched up right now with regards to the group stage standpoint. I mean, no disrespect to our competition, but really the toughest team that we will face, decimated wood, let me knock on this, is going to be Juventus. So let's handle our business today. We play against a Morocco team. So let's comfortably get this win. Controlled game, something that we saw from Chelsea in terms of their games. I see you, Red Camp, in the building. He goes, Vader, I want Wilfred Singo. Really? For 20 mil? We'll discuss that. That's okay. We'll get into that. Strasbourg Steve goes, City starting 11. We'll get into that for sure. We're gonna break that down as well. You know what? Okay. Let me. You know what? You guys are everywhere. I know. I want to keep good pace. I want to have the conversation. Yo, AJ, good looking out. Large up, my guy. Every time. You know what it is. Now, he's good. Steve says he's good, so he's good. All right. Let me put the starting 11 on screen. Do I want to? How do I want to do this? I'm gonna share screen. Maybe I want to do that. All right. So if I click on this, no, not that. All right. Where's my 11? I had it bookmarked. This is stalling. Oh, you know what? I sent it to myself. That's what I did. So I'm gonna click on that, and then if I do this, share screen. Which one is it? This one. Yeah. All right. So hopefully is that good for you guys? I'm assuming so. And I just took myself off screen. So hopefully everything's okay. You still got my voice on this one. But you see the 11. And when you see what Pep, and I'm going to try to give my rationale, if I can, to what I think the manager's doing here. If I can do that real quick. I think what we have here is the trust in the keeper. That's easily understood. Trust in Ederson. You've heard me speak about Ederson all the time. You've heard me speak about him. But then you got Lewis, you got Reece, Young, you got Ake. Ake healthy, right? He's had some time off, right? Between Ake and Stones, he's had some time off. But we've got those players available to play, and Pep's trusting him, and then we got O'Reilly. So if we're looking at that back line, right? Pep's giving the chance to the younger players. Apologies for that one. But when we look at what Pep's doing, he's trusting young players in this competition. And no disrespect, but I think it's because of the competition why he's playing these players. He's like, okay, he's got to treat this somewhat like a preseason, because these games are going to accumulate, and then at the same time he's got to have his options in terms of like getting other players their playing time. So trusting these guys early, I'm not too upset with it. Then when we look at the midfield, though, This is the interesting part, guys. When we look at the midfield, we see that he's trusting Reinders, new addition. He's trusting Shirky, new addition. And he's trusting a player that many City fans had to come to the defense because of how the rivals were attacking him, right? Last season, every rival was taking their shots because player of the year had an off year. Player of the year wasn't at the same form. So the fact that Pep is trusting Foden now with regards to this is amazing. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting because everybody wants to talk about, oh, this direct football, right? Pep doesn't want wingers, right? Pep, look at who he's chosen. Look at we've got Savinho, and Savinho didn't have the best debut season, but that's not uncommon, right? Players for the first time coming to City, we've seen that rookie year, we've seen that freshman year, right? So I kind of expected that from Riley. I mean, sorry, from Savinho. And we got Doku again, very direct, and Marmoush, right? We got Marmoush. Now I see you guys in the comments. I'm gonna get to it, but this team, as new as it is, as kind of like Pep throwing in a lot of variations, a lot of inconsistency in terms of who would play together with what. Then when you look at this bench is it's ridiculous. This bench is wild. And you know what? Shout out to those of you that follow me on Twitter X. But when I see a bench like this, I often refer and I add good soup to it because this bench is looking good like good soup. This is what I tend to talk about. Ortega, listen, the keepers on the bench, it is what it is. Diaz, we know what Diaz is. We know the quality of Diaz. Stones healthy. We know what Stones is. Haaland, he speaks for himself, right? Goal scoring record holder last season. The only reason why City did not win back-to-back Ballon d'Ors is because of the GOAT Messi. And that was like a lifetime achievement award that was given to him with that Ballon d'Or, him winning the winning the FIFA World Cup. But we got Nico, new signing. We got Rodri, Ballon d'Or on the bench. Gundogan, our trouble-winning captain on the bench. Bernardo, this season's captain on the bench. Ait Nori, great addition. I was actually surprised not to see him start. But maybe that's Pep. Not too many changes, right? Don't want that many changes. Gavardio speaks for himself. Akanji, most versatile player. The man's a walking computer. Nunez, as much as rivals want to kind of take shots at Nunez with regards to, Pep came out and said he's not clever enough in midfield. It's not that he's not clever enough with regards to how City play, because obviously he played in the midfield at another club, right? He doesn't have that at an enough level for Pep to say you can play that way over here at Manchester City. So I think we're going to see Nunez as that option with regards to a right back, because I like his physicality. Can he be more defensive minded? That's going to be difficult to kind of teach because he has been a typical midfielder, but I think it's going to be similar to why there was relaxed Liverpool fans, but the same way he kind of converted a midfielder in terms of Trent and made him a right back. Not talking distribution, not talking ball striking, but in terms of maybe that offensive mind, maybe that's why Pep trusts Nunez in that role. But Echeverri, I'm excited to see him play. Kosanov, we saw him, difficult debut, but I'm excited to see him play. I love his pace. I love his tenacity, and that's key in terms of a defender. And Oscar Bob, this is if there's one player that I'm like, ooh, let's get that sub early. If there's a player I want to get subbed on early, it's Oscar Bob, because the season he was going to have, when Arsenal fans want to talk about, the trajectory that Saka was on, that's me with regards to Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob was, he was going to skyrocket. That was going to be a season, and unfortunately got that injury. But look, we've got the players to correct any type of issues that may happen within the game. All right. This game in particular, I'm watching, and this high risk, high reward. The high risk is I'm going to admit I'm going to be nervous because I don't want to see any type of injury. I don't want to see any player holding a leg. I don't want to see any type of cramping. I don't want to see any like 50-50 tackle and it goes the wrong way. That's me. I'm going to be mad nervous with regards to that because, like I said, we're playing games. City are going to be playing, and if they City make it far, this tournament doesn't end until July 13th. This is a number of games that we got to play, and it's going to grow in intensity when the two other clubs that are going to be challenging for this title, one is going to be defending champ, looking to do back-to-back. They just finished signing, Florian and Wirtz. They're chilling. So I'm going to be nervous with regards to these players not taking any type of injury, muscular or anything like that. And I'm also going to be really, really nervous when it comes down to seeing the debuts, right? I want positive debuts for these players. And there's different people out there, right? There are negative people. Like, this isn't a shot. There are negative people and there are positive people. There are people that the first thing that they think of is like the good outcome. And there's some people that instantly think of what's the negative outcome. Like, that's how they're wired. And it's not a bad thing, right? But I'm so optimistic with how well we can play our ball and how well we can actually gel together. But I hate knowing that it's not an even playing field because the competition that are going to be competing for this title aren't in this tournament. That's the thing that's kind of killing me right now. Let me go to the comments, and thank you each and every one of you. Should I take this? Yeah, let me remove this. Yeah. All right. I left off for a little bit. Mateo in the building goes, this competition can go two ways. Build our momentum, okay, going into the season, or it will exhaust us and leave us completely depleted for this coming Premier League campaign. Here's the thing. I trust that Pep is going to find the right balance. I love the size of the squad that traveled, right? Pep's got options. Pep can make sure, and the training staff, right? They can look at how these players are exerting the energy. How many kilometers are they running, right? They can do all that. So I'm happy, and we got options to take out the bench. But I agree with you. The fact that we're playing these intense games early, cutting off the break that these players would have. Obviously, the manager is going to have to readjust on how he does the preseason, and then how we end the season. If we're playing for all the trophies that we tend to do, how we close out the season, how we tend to have more in the battery than some of our ops, that is a concern. Mateo, I'm in full agreement. City till I die, he goes, this squad have so much potential, it's crazy. You know what? I can't wait for EAFC to come out. Ooh, I can't wait for EAFC to come out. This is where you're gonna see mad different combinations. I happen to play seasons, right? So when you play season and you end up playing another City opponent, there's been past seasons where it's like the same 11. You kind of expect the same 11. This is different. We can see so many different combinations out here. And Pep, think of what Pep's gonna do. Pep's gonna do a mad one. Pep's gonna do a mad one. Your midfield has not a defensive bone in their body, but Pep going for the kill here. I think he wants to win. Steve, all right, let me break this down for you, Steve. And that's a great point. That's why we're having the conversation. Everybody in the chat, please hit that like button, be a part of the show, like Steve is, and others that have commented. But Steve, listen, I think Pep was like, and I've spoken about this on previous shows, Pep was like, everybody low blocks us. Everybody. Real Madrid this past season, low block. Defensive counter, right? Everybody low blocks us. Liverpool, I'm going to call it more of a mid block. But again, more defensive, trying to catch us on the counter. Arsenal, head to head, they did go after us. Let's say more of a mid block. But everybody else, and again, I get it. We had the injuries that we had. We didn't have the same quality and consistency or even confidence. But Pep was like, if the majority of these teams are going to be low blocking me, if I'm going to have to be breaking down these defenses, if I'm going to have to be a pickpocketer, if I'm going to be a locksmith, I'm going to have to unlock these defensive safes, if I'm gonna have to do that, let me get the tools to do it. Let me get the safe crackers out here, right? Let me get these let me get these players that can manipulate the ball and actually be a constant threat no matter where on the pitch. That's what I think Pep's going. And funny thing, if the way we don't have a defensive bone in our body is then going to invite teams to not play so defensive, I think it's a win-win here because then it's a little more open. My huge like question that needs to be answered is whether, like you mentioned, no defensive bone in the body, but if the defensiveness that is needed is to just run on a counter, be in position on a counter, I'm gonna take my chances. This is where I'm gonna take my chances, Steve. I think Pep's onto something. Good looking out clips. Is this the official? This is the official. This is Manchester City's official. Let me put that back on screen for you guys. This is it. So I'm not mad at this at all. I'm not mad at this at all. Again, this is a game where we're going to be finding our feet. This is a game where we should be superior to the competition. And I'm looking for patterns of play. Yeah, I'm going to sound all geeky and nerdy here, but I'm going to be looking for patterns of play. I'm going to be looking to, what's Pep and offensively, what's Pep and Pep been talking about, right? What have they been kind of working together? What are they doing? Every Liverpool fan are discrediting what Pep Linders is, but I'm curious to see what they've been cooking, what they've been putting together. And then when we also look at how different might we be defensively, here's the thing, right? So there's no Haaland in the starting 11. I don't think that we're going to press them. I don't think we're going to be doing the suffocating, we lost possession, let's try and win it back. I don't think we're necessarily going to be doing that. But I'm interested to see what we do as the games progress. Good looking at everybody in the comments. Now, if we have the tournament that I think we are going to have, a tournament that takes us out of the group stage, if I'm going to be, let me be optimistic here. We get to the semis, all right? It's still going to be a fight. And I think all of those naysayers, all of those that have been talking down on this tournament, all of those that are watching before kickoff and they're taking screen grabs of the stands and all that kind of stuff, also understand, here's the thing, all right? Culturally, and I don't agree with it, but culturally, Steve, just you can tell me if I'm wrong, but we often see late arrivals with regards to North American sports. Like getting your butts in the stands, we don't see that urgency in terms of being in there rocking from the very beginning. That's something that isn't customary with North American sports, especially with regards to these group stage games. I think it's going to be a different intensity when it gets down to the knockout. But everyone that's taking their shots, oh, no one's really interested in this tournament. Oh, this is poor. This should have been done somewhere else. There's a lot of mistakes that the Club World Cup have made. Pricing is one of them. I think they didn't price it appropriately for the football crowd, right? For the football audience. Also, the timing of these games. Like, listen, this game is happening at 12 o'clock my time, right? 12 o'clock my time Wednesday. So there's those challenges in terms of like the butts in the seats. But the fact that the U.S. population is crazy, where they're having these tournaments, cities playing in Philly right now, the amount of people that can actually attend. And I think it's one of those where it's like, you got to give and take, right? The bean counter should have been like, oh, we can get this many people to actually fill the stands. Ticket prices can actually be around here, right? So that's where they're all figuring this out. But trust me, this tournament, legit. This tournament is it. Every 4 years, Club World Cup, it's built right. It's built right. It's got its hiccups, absolutely. It's got its debut mistakes, absolutely. But this tournament ain't going anywhere. Be prepared. Be prepared. And whoever wins this, deserving of that gold badge that they get to wear for 4 years. Absolutely. Andrew goes, Arsenal fans and United crying about hard games. That fixture, I got to talk. See the fixture list. I got to talk about on another time. Andrew, we got to talk about that. This is a funny thing. Like the crying needs to stop, man. Everybody's got to play these games. Everybody's got to play these games, and how the fixtures have go from being tough. We've heard the same fans want to complain about fixtures being tough in the middle of the season, right? Or just before. We had a grueling. Was it last season? We had a grueling winter schedule, right? It happens. You deal with it. 4-2 Man City win, in my opinion. Steve, I think that's disrespectful. We're getting scored on twice. I think that's very rude of you. Came to point out most views are down. Andrew's in the building. All right, hold on. What's Andrew saying here? Come to point out most views are down because everyone has Amazon Stick because of football prices. It's £100 per month. Disgusting. Now, Andrew, I'm going to ask you: was that a price increase only last season, or were these the same circumstances happening the season before? I'm gonna leave that to you, and maybe it's a conversation we can have on a future show. But that may be a reason. It may be a reason, but I would just challenge you: is if the prices were flat, like if the prices were the same the previous season, then I'd have to disagree. Lindo goes, who do you blame for the Grealish situation? Okay. You know what? I got time for this. So Jack, obviously not on the list, right? Jack did not travel. James McEntee did not travel. It's very telling. Okay. It's very telling. Who do I have to blame? I'm blaming, at the end of the day, I'm blaming the player. So hear me out. Okay. Get the likes up, everybody, please, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm blaming the player because year one, Grealish, mentally, attitude, how he was trying to make his impact, was there, dialed in, right? I remember Grealish, even though we lost to Real Madrid, I remember Grealish being on that pitch late in that game, two attacking opportunities, one save, and I think one just missed. One was saved and one was missed, but attacking threats on that left wing. Direct. The directness wasn't coached out of him. It was wanted, but he obviously had to be smart enough because it's situational. Next, our treble winning season, Jack did what was asked of him, absolutely. The control, winning fouls, obviously never great GA. Jack was never great GA. But the fact that he was able to show that he needed to be on that pitch versus anyone else, credit to him. That's the player. When the player's not able to get onto that pitch, you still have to look at that player because the manager was subbing him on. The manager was starting him. He wasn't making the most of those. And this last season in particular, because if we're going to be real, this is 4 seasons now, right? So debut season, we retained the title, but we didn't lose. We lost in the Champions League to Real Madrid. Season after that, the addition of Haaland, we did our thing, and the actual connection between him and Haaland, great, right? Jack's third season, we 4-peat. Jack's, sorry, 1 second. Jack's 4th season, we 4-peat, right? Jack didn't have the greatest impact in terms of that season, but he was still involved, helped us win the league, but not that guy. And every season, I would say things kind of diminished. Pep wants professionals. And if you don't have your starting spot, he wants to see you fight for it. When you do have that starting spot, he wants to see you continue on. When Jack wasn't playing, when Jack kind of had a couple bumps, wasn't starting due to fitness, unfortunately, there was too much coming out with how he was conducting himself off the pitch. Another thing is, And I hope players smarten up to this. I hope players and agents smarten up to this. When you're not healthy and you make yourself available internationally, and then you come back from internationals and you're not available to play for the club, that's going to hurt. That's going to cost you. Because again, ultimately, you are to be available for the club. So I think many of those things on Jack's side is what prevented him from being the player that he could have been and should have been at City. I also saw him. I saw Pep trust him playing false nine, playing in the center of the center of the pitch. The fact that he didn't do that more when the manager gives you a shot, I think it falls on the player. This whole revisionist, the way rivals are trying to talk about it, the way some of these pundits are trying to say Pep did Grealish dirty, it's not completely Jack's fault. Just hear me out. But the majority is. The majority of it is because Pep's going to give you a shot. Pep's going to see whether you're going to prove him wrong. But I think there's a slight lack of professionalism from Jack as his time continued on here at City. All right, we going. Hey, like I said, Steve said he's good. Score prediction. Mateo wants a score prediction. I think this might get ugly. I think Pep's going to bring on subs to get the energy going, to get that fitness right, and because of our attacking style of play, I think this might be like who said 4-2? This might be like a 6-1. This might be one of those. Or like the Chelsea game, it might just be controlled. It's hard to say, but I can see a lot of goals being scored, to be honest with you, because that's what we do. We entertain. Paul Vader, who's the better player, Marmoush or Julian Alvarez? Ooh. Ooh. Julian's younger. Marmoush for me is a late bloomer. Shout out to my Egyptian Canadian. As of now, I give the better player to Julian Alvarez, but that can change really quickly because I think where Julian, he's more familiar, he's more comfortable in my opinion on that right hand side attacking. Marmoush is more comfortable on that left hand side attacking. Both of them can take free kicks. Both of them can shoot from the outside. I think there's a little more slipperiness to Marmoush. There's more pace with Marmoush, but we got to see it. So right now, I'm gonna say Julian Alvarez. I need to see more, but if I were to kind of give a ceiling, I think there's more of a ceiling with Marmoush because pace kills, close dribbling kills. I think Marmoush is a little more talented there, but we'll have to see. Julian Alvarez gave City everything, right? He was here. He gave a treble. He helped us with the 4-peat. He contributed when Haaland wasn't able to play. He was there. He gave Liverpool fits when Haaland wasn't able to play. Julian's that guy. So Marmoush is going to have to prove a lot. He's got a lot to have to prove. AJ in the building. He goes, I honestly believe it. A Manchester City Liverpool title race. I honestly believe my club doesn't get close. Nah, too early. AJ, it's too early to say that you guys aren't going to get close. The last 3 seasons. I know last year was the most considerable drop off in terms of really not competing, but y'all will be in it, especially because of the pressure. Here's a funny thing: like pressure does create opportunity, and I think the fact that Arteta's got to deliver a major, he's got to deliver a trophy, and we also have that motivation to keep these players engaged. Like these players have to start feeling that winning factor. They have to get close. They have to win that trophy, even if it's a domestic one. I think you guys are in it. I think it's going to be a gonna be a 3-horse race. I think it is, to be and this isn't gas, and I really think it's gonna be a 3-horse race. As for the tournament, if you win it, that will transform your summer into. If we win it, AJ. Here's the thing: if we win it, I think we then propel on to like just have the ultimate confidence. Then it's like we just won a Club World Cup. We're going to be facing similar competition in Champions League. I think, yeah, that it could be huge. It could be huge. Andrew goes, EAFC is the worst ever game. Wait, Andrew, when was this season or the season prior? Because I did like their updates. I think this version was better than last version. I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard Arsenal and I appeared. Good looking out, man. Good looking out. I'm catching up on these comments. AJ goes, oh, yo, bless. If we're at not see, I need to do a better job of keeping track of the numbers. If we're at 950, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone in the building. When we crack that 1K, I'm trying to think of how are we gonna celebrate that? How are we gonna celebrate that? I think I might at 1K. I'll answer one of the looming Vader Games questions out there. I'll answer one of the, you know what? Maybe I'll set up like a poll, and I'll answer one of the looming, often questioned questions out there, and maybe I'll answer that or something like that. But we'll celebrate when we hit that 1K. We'll celebrate. So get the word out, spread the word, share this, remind people. Vader's close to that 1K. You know what it is. And again, I've been blessed enough to truly treat this as a hobby, as like my diary, as my journal, to kind of talk things through. Obviously, I appear on other channels, but to actually make this a channel thing where mad people are saying, Vader, we need to see you. We'll get there, but right now it's an enjoyable hobby. Thank you so much. Blue Heart in the building. He goes, hello, Vader, and everyone in the chat. Good looking out, my guy. Yeah, hit that likes, people. Big up, God. Hey, Godfrey's a good dude. He is a good dude. Are we all watching? Absolutely, we're watching this game. It's a must. What's Brown saying out here? Are you gaslighting again? Why would you come into the chat and ask that? Why, Brown? Why would you come into the chat and ask that? I ain't gaslighting, but we talking some Club World Cup, talking about this upcoming season, the starting 11. I'm actually really excited to watch, and this game is happening kickoff is within less than 30 minutes, a little bit of a delay. Can our Canadian brothers win the goal? Oh man, I wish, Paul. I wish. It's not enough for us to kind of slap up the U.S. here and there. It's not enough to like get that occasional win versus Mexico, although Mexico's been the most difficult country for us to play against. But yeah, we need it. We need it. We got talent, and I don't know why there aren't enough clubs out there for Jonathan David. Like, what's going on here? I don't want to see him at Liverpool. I don't want to see him at Arsenal, but clubs should be out there for that guy. They really should be. I'm good too, AJ. Excited for the match today. Are you happy? We're gonna be watching it. The zone's doing their thing. I can't hate. Paul, how are you asking that? How are you asking me if the player of the year is still in City's best 11? How are you? Nah, see, you're messing with me. You're messing with me because that's inappropriate. Of course he is. Foden is that guy. Just wasn't healthy last season. We're gonna get him back. Trust me, we're gonna get him back. AJ says he would. Yeah, I don't want him over there. I don't want to see that quality over there. I'm not gonna lie. His versatility. He's not the fastest. All right, he's not gonna burn you with his pace, but technically he's good. He's really good. I hear it. James McAtee is out. Jack Grealish is out. Hopefully they get very good homes for what's next for them. See, Andrew, if the last game you played was FIFA 21, you played a poor game. FIFA 21 wasn't good. EAFC this season, in particular, in my opinion, was better than the last, and in my opinion, was better balanced, less scripted. If you were to ask me, Blue Heart goes, Alvarez. He didn't like things like they say. Wait, Alvarez. He didn't like things like they say Jack doesn't. Even Sterling and Jesus didn't like the didn't like the splinters on the bench. Julian, I respect his confidence because he should be a starting 9, right? The fact that he came to City, him and Holland, I respected his professionalism. 2 seasons, he did what was asked of him and more. But I can get why this guy is a World Cup winner. This guy, obviously, he's won a treble. This guy's contributed, had huge impact. To then often be the second option because Holland is that guy, he had to find a different home. I'm thankful it's out of the Prem. I don't want to see Julian Alvarez in the Prem. So the fact that he's over in La Liga causing those guys headaches, that's better. But I'm very thankful for that. Blue Heart goes, he's seen a 3-1. Okay. All right. I'm not mad at that. Red in the building goes, Vader, who should we sign at right back? I know this is a huge dream, and I'm just gonna speak for City right now. I would like us to flex and take Newcastle's right back. I would like us to flex like that, Livermento, but I don't see it happening. And we have, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think we have to go out and get right back English potential. Just for the balancing of our quotas. I think that's what we might have to do and complement that with Nunes, I think. I also, listen, those of you just tuning in and you're not too familiar with how things work over here. This is 115. This is one question, 50 minutes. I've clearly exceeded the 15 minutes. If you're tuning in, this has been an amazing conversation. I've got additional shows that I want to do. So look out, subscribe so you don't miss out, because I want to bring CIA tomorrow, panel show. I want us to talk, obviously, Club World Cup, the result. I want us to talk about also potential signings. And then over at CIA Intelligent Agendas, I want us to also look and see what these rivals are doing. We have to stay informed on what Liverpool are doing, because they're showing like Liverpool want to win this back-to-back bad. Like, it's one thing for them to have won back-to-backs before it was the Prem. It's another thing to win it in the Prem era. Like, to do that in the Prem era is huge, and for them to be able to do that would be monstrous, especially from a club standpoint, because those things have impact, right? Let me talk about this real quick. Thank you all for tuning in. And I'm gonna leave this point just before I close things out, but this is important. We have to combat against this. Like, we need to get back to our winning form, because if in this era, and I'm not sure if this shows up on screen well enough, but so I'll speak to it. But in this era where everyone's consuming, I think it might have been Andrew who talked about the drop in viewership, many watching on Amazon sticks and that nature. But in this day and age, right, everyone's consuming content not through newspapers, not through TV, necessarily, not through radio, if we're doing all that. They're consuming things on Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you're on this platform right now, YouTube. So that's where the eyes are. That's where everyone's getting their attentions. They're doing long form content. They're doing short form. You're seeing all these short clips, right? You're seeing all of that. If Liverpool were able to win back-to-back in an era where things just are everywhere in an instant, in a second, right? That's going to be troublesome. So you look at the following right here, and when we talked about the drop in viewership, you can kind of see why. When you got the likes of a United in a city that don't have the season of being in the mix, especially City, the last 4 seasons have been in the mix. We didn't see a drop in viewership. We didn't see a drop in in eyeballs, right? Liverpool winning it, we did see that drop. So we need to get the other Manchester City. We got to get Manchester City, Manchester United. They can stay where they are, but we got to get Manchester City back into the mix. Look at that following. That following is going to boost viewership because we're back in it. We're winning things. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna just emphasize we have to do what we need to do to stop Liverpool from winning back to back. That's a huge honor. Winning back to back in back to back prems, it's a huge thing. It's a huge accomplishment. So we gotta try and stop that. Each and every one of you for being a part of the show. Thank you so very much. If you haven't commented, please do so. Even if you're watching this on a replay, I go back, I read the comments, positive or negative. I still read them. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe. Like mentioned, we now hit 950. Let's get over to that 1K mark. And this Club World Cup, high risk, but a high reward. And we're fortunate. Myself and with the Blue Brothers, right? Chelsea, we're in the mix to try and win this thing. Let's go and do that. One game at a time. Let's handle things comfortably. My risk here is everybody healthy with the likes of Ake, with the likes of Stones. We're gonna need them. We're gonna need them as the season goes on. But I want to see how everybody plays, especially the youngsters, especially the new additions. I'm happy with the starting 11. But bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy this sign out. And we will be back with another show, CIA Intelligent Agendas, tomorrow. All right. Peace. Thank you.